Hey everybody, Scott Adams here again. So I wanted to talk about a couple of vocabulary terms today. So our industry has so many acronyms, so many words that have the same meaning, different meanings based depending on what context you're in. So with the new products coming out, like Visa Compelling Evidence, one of the terms that is especially confusing, I think, is device ID and device fingerprint. So across the last 10 years of these, as these things have come around, actually they've really in general been referred to as the same thing. But at least as far as compelling evidence goes, so device ID, that is the word, the ID from like your phone. So that's an actual physical ID. I know most cell phones have an ID, the IMEI. And yes, I was looking at my phone to see that because I always confuse the letters. And some other IDs in there. Now there are ways if you have like an app that you can get those IDs, but you have to have physical software on the device. Like JavaScript will not pull that. So that's what they're calling device ID. Then device fingerprint, this is more of an algorithm. So this is like, there's a lot of software services out there that basically use JavaScript and possibly some other technologies to grab a bunch of information. So, things like, your screen resolution, your, anything that you can get from JavaScript. And they take all that information and, put it together in some kind of algorithm and they come up with an ID. And, the idea of this is that although you don't have a physical ID that's absolute, you have one with relative certainty. It's the same device if you compare, different sessions from the web or from an app. Then you can figure out it's probably the same person. And then I'll add a third one in there, which is behavioral. And many companies, or at least some, have something called a behavioral ID or a behavioral fingerprint, or you might hear behavioral analytics. These things are using similar to a device fingerprint, but it also takes into account things that are more like biometrics and that like how you move your phone. Like, especially if it's on your phone, you can see the angle you hold your phone, if you move your phone around, the size of your fingers, how hard you press on the screen, all sorts of additional variables that are really very much based on you. Even if it's not a phone, you can get things like typing speed, the cadence between keystrokes, and how you move the mouse, all sorts of variables there. And so these are called behavioral, and that's a whole nother ID that all works in conjunction to try to help figure out, is this the same person who logged in before, or is this you? Which it's obviously very important for what we do. So I hope that helps. Thanks a lot.